Welcome back to the Juan Palomino Breakthrough Podcast. Today, you might want to lean a little closer if you're married or even thinking about getting married one day, because we are talking about marriage.
Woohoo!
So let's be honest. There are times when your spouse can feel like the enemy, right? There's arguments, tension, the silent treatments.
No way. Never.
And it could feel like you're at war with the very person that you promised to love. But what if the real enemy isn't them at all? What if it's the generational chains and unhealed wounds that you've both carried into the marriage?
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Welcome, everybody. I think that's such a big truth. Again, we have together, Jenna, we've sat with many couples who sometimes think, well, I should say not sometimes, who always think that the problem is each other.
Yep.
Right? When in reality, though, the deeper issue is what's behind the conflict. Things like generational patterns. Oh, man. And what we mean by that is, unresolved pain also, or even past trauma. And the truth is, your spouse isn't your enemy. The enemy is the chains, right? Those chains that keep showing up in your marriage, and unless you recognize them, they're going to keep sabotaging your connection in your marriage. Isn't that what happened to us?
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's not just, like you said, not just the generational patterns, but I think that also the unresolved pain and the past trauma are also huge factors in conflict in marriage, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So let's go deeper into when we say chains. So we're talking about things like generational patterns of anger, shame, abandonment, or even control, right? So like things that maybe started with your parents or even maybe your grandparents, but now show up in the way that you relate to your spouse.
Yeah. So an example would be, if you grew up in a home where conflict was never handled in a healthy way, maybe it was, maybe constant yelling or the silence treatment, avoidance, stonewalling. What happens is there's this saying, things are more caught than taught. You ever heard that before, hon?
Yeah, but I think it's interesting too, because I feel like sometimes you do like the opposite of what you learned in your household.
Oh, well, yeah, some people do.
Right.
But others, again, whatever was modeled to them at home
is normal to them.
Well, yeah, it's the pattern that you take on and you go, oh, well, this worked for my parents. Or even if it didn't, right? Sometimes you're like, oh, crap.
That's the only way you know.
You're like, I said I would never do that, and here I am doing it. So anyway, whatever method was modeled to you, I guess what we're trying to say here, more times than not, that's what you carry into your marriage. And it's without realizing it sometimes. Right? You project these old wounds onto your spouse. And then suddenly, the fight isn't about the dishes, come on, or the bills anymore. It's about the chain of never feeling seen or, come on, guys, respected.
Oh,
come on.
Wow. Yeah. And I think like we talk about so often, like that's what's so powerful about this is once you can name the chain, right? Then you can separate your spouse from the fight.
At least try to.
Yeah. I think like once you get out of that red zone.
Yeah, it takes practice.
Right? You can begin to see like, wait a second, this isn't about him or her. This is about something that I've seen in my family line.
Right.
This is something that I've seen my parents do in my past, and I could see this pattern and I don't want it to continue.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think the big thing here, I guess the takeaway that we're trying to say is you have to come to the realization that if nothing changes, then nothing changes. I know that sounds cliche, but this is where breakthrough happens. And when you stop, when you stop fighting each other and start fighting the actual chains that you begin, that you're saying, okay, there's an issue here and I need to attack that instead of my spouse. I remember telling myself over and over again when we would get into arguments, like, okay, fight fair, Juan, but also remember that Jenna's not your enemy. Again, and again, being completely honest and transparent. I mean, in our own marriage, there have been moments where, I realized that I wasn't reacting to you. I was reacting to my past. And when I chose to own that, man, that shifted everything. It shifted the dynamic between us big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah. And I think that couples need to hear this too. Like, this is the moment when you stop seeing your spouse as the problem and start working together to break the chains, right? Because I remember when we would get into an argument and then you would stop and be like, you're not the enemy. Like, right. And then you'd say, like, there's an enemy that's trying to break us up, and we're a team together. And that does change the dynamic of, like, okay, like, how do we change this?
Yeah.
Like, what do we really argue? And then, like you said, like, okay, is it really about the dishes? Like, what, And then sometimes you realize, like, oh my gosh, we're fighting over something that could be so small, like the dishes that turns into something so much bigger. Why is it turning into something so much bigger, right?
Well, when one of us can pause and say, okay, all right, we're at each other's throats, or we're beginning to, or this can lead to that. And even saying it out loud, sometimes it's in your head, but sometimes out loud say, okay, you're not my enemy. That disarms everything.
Well, and I think that was really huge for you to realize that, because what we learned one time in marriage counseling, right, is the hailstorm and the turtle.
Okay.
Do you want to explain that?
Yeah. So this was a great, how do you say it?
Analogy?
Yeah. Yeah. Great analogy of us really figuring out our fighting style. Yeah. Our fighting style. And for my wife, for Jenna, the best analogy for her is that she is a turtle. So when there is danger, when she feels attacked, she's going to hide inside of this shell to protect herself. While I, on the other hand, I'm the hailstorm. In other words, it just comes down like, hey, I need to talk about this. We're not going to, end this conversation until I am satisfied and I feel like I'm heard and I feel like I'm being respected. And that can take more than 5 minutes.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And I am just like the type of person when we're in an argument, like, okay, I heard you.
Right.
Like, we're done. This fight needs to be over. Right. We don't need to talk about it anymore. Like, why are we still talking about it? Like, we've already talked about the same thing 10 times.
Well, because the hailstorm, again, he doesn't feel like
he's been heard.
Right. And I can't get over the fact that I'm like, that's it? You're just going to acknowledge, or you're going to say, okay, yes. And I feel like you're brushing me aside, or you're just saying, all right, I agree to disagree, or I agree to agree just because I want to move on with my day.
Right.
But you are awesome. You are more, I'll say this, and this is being recorded. You honestly are graceful. When you say, okay, I apologize, or, hey, Juan, like, I'm sorry, you really mean it. And from my generational standpoint, meaning, let's just say it this way, my past relationships, it hasn't always been that way. So here I come with this baggage into this relationship 14 years ago, and it's like, what do you mean it's over? Conversation can't be over.
Yeah.
There's more to it, right? Like, let's keep talking. Let's keep, in other words, arguing. And you're like, no, let's move on. So that's, if you guys are hearing this going, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Or maybe you identify with this going like, yep, that's exactly it. Which one are you? Are you a hailstorm? Like, hey, let's continue to have this conversation until I'm satisfied? Or are you the turtle?
Yeah. And the downside of being a turtle also is that you don't like conflict. So when there needs to be a subject that needs to be brought up, then the chances of you bringing up are a lot lower because first of all, you're bringing up to a hailstorm who you don't know what's going to happen, but also like you just brush it under the rug and, like, oh, it's fine. Like, I forgive them. It's okay. We don't need to talk about it. And so that's the downside of being a turtle also.
But in reality, it's not over, right? Right. Because you hang on to those multiple fights or multiple arguments that you go, it's fine. And then eventually you're a volcano that's waiting to erupt.
100%.
Okay, so what's the point here? Your spouse isn't the enemy.
Yeah, and healing happens when you both commit to breaking those chains, right? Through faith, through intentional work, and through choosing unity over division.
That's good. Yeah. I think that we got to remember that we need to stop fighting against each other and start fighting for each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well,
so let me just ask you something right now. For someone who's listening, saying like, okay, I see these chains. I see how they're showing up in my marriage, but like, what do I actually do about it? Like, what's one first step that I can take?
Yeah. I think we just mentioned it, but we'll give some clarity to it. It's awareness. All right. None of us, I know particularly us, we can say that we can't, we haven't been able to heal something that we don't name.
Right.
You have to name it.
And you can't fix each other.
Oh, man. Say that again. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot fix your spouse. You can't fix anybody. What you got to ask yourself is, again, looking in the mirror instead of looking out the window or looking at your spouse, is what patterns from my past are showing up in my marriage. And I just mentioned that, that I came into our relationship with Jenna, my wife, and I was like, man, I'm still dealing with some stuff from the past that hadn't been healed. So there has to be awareness of, and to complete honesty with yourself of what is it that I'm struggling with. And then step 2, I would say, is owning it. You can't just point out the other person's chains. Well, she's always angry, or, she's always avoiding me, or blah, 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 whatever that is. You got to look at your own stuff. You got to own your own junk. And then step 3, you have to invite Jesus into it. Jenna, you know this. I could not do this alone. Neither could you. We need a higher power, and Jesus, when I lean on him, he helps me, because when I want to come down harder as a hailstorm, I'm going, wait a minute. I'm like, God, I need to walk away and take a breather and but ask God and be like, you know what, God, I need your help. Am I overreacting? I start asking myself questions, because if I just get into it and I don't bring God into the conversation, then, it's not going to work out. So again, 3 points: awareness, ownership, and bringing God into it. All right. Because healing honestly from our generational chains, it's gonna take more than willpower. It takes true surrender. It takes constant prayer. And also, listen, if you heard us right now say that we went to marriage counseling, you're going to need support from community, from counseling, and also maybe coaching, right? Someone that has been there that can say, hey, I can help you navigate through this challenge. And let me share with you from my experience how, I can help you, come alongside you and help you.
Yeah, I would definitely say that if we hadn't done our own healing work, that we would not be married today.
Come on. Yeah. Yeah, because,
we had so much baggage coming. Both of us had so much baggage coming into our marriage.
Yep.
That, man, if we didn't heal and break some of those chains, like we still have chains that we, continue to work on because we're not perfect. But man, there were some major chains that we had to break in order for our marriage to just work.
Okay, so let's give the audience who's listening an example. Like, what is a generational chain that you were like, man, I came into this marriage, I came into this relationship with?
I would say like looking for not acceptance, but like looking to please you. And I think I mentioned this maybe like in the last episode, but looking to please you and being super codependent and looking for you to love me and doing things for you to love me when I didn't have to do those things. Or like trying, like the turtle part of it, right, is like doing whatever I could to not get into conflict because I didn't want to lose that love or like acceptance. Just being very like doing whatever I could to please you.
So I hear what you're saying. So that meant an example would be you, let's say, feeling tired that day at the end of the day. We're going to get real. Ready?
I know where you're going.
Getting tired at the end of the day, and you're like, man, I'm exhausted and I just want to take a shower and I just want to go to bed. And here comes your husband.
Yeah.
He's like, I want to take a shower and I want to be in bed with you.
Activity.
That activity, that couples do. And that's been a constant continued battle, right? Where it's like, I'm tired and I have a headache, or I'm overwhelmed, I'm exhausted and I just want to go to sleep. And then here I am going, well, hey, how you doing? You look sexy today.
Yeah.
And it's like, how can I say no to him when I need to say no because I'm tired? And can he respect my no and be okay with a no? Right? Isn't that a big one?
Yeah, for sure.
Right? And it's just like, okay, can I say no? And even though I listen to me, I go, well, what do you mean no? Like, let's do this.
Yeah.
And you honestly saying no. And then me respecting that and not throwing a hissy fit.
Well, and I think too, like, it's like, and this is a phrase that we say a lot in our marriage and we tell our kids too, is it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Right? So me just saying, no, I have a headache is different than saying, hey, babe, like I've had a really long day. I'm tired. Like
tomorrow.
I'm not feeling well. Like, would you mind like if we postpone till tomorrow?
Take a rain check.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yep.
Then yeah, that's different than just no with no context, no explanation.
Right.
Nothing like that.
Yep.
And you have to follow through with your word.
Right.
And doing it the next day and not saying no, doing the same thing the next. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Repeating that, coming up with a different reason the next day.
Okay.
Well.
Yep. And then so for the audience, whoever's listening is like, okay, well, what's Juan's generational curse that he came in, or generational chain? Well, for me, when Jenna would say no, I felt rejected. I felt rejection. Not that I didn't hear, oh, I'm tired, and I would hear all that, or, hey, it's been a long day, or whatever.
And especially like as a mom, and after I've explained this to him, it's like, man, like the kids have been touching me all day. Like I've been running them around all day. Like I just finished cleaning up after dinner. I just put the kids to bed. Like I've done all these things and like I'm just overstimulated and tired. know.
But what I was saying is that I came into the relationship, wanting to be wanted, to be needed. Somewhere along the way, rejection in a relationship made me feel like I wasn't wanted or needed. And so my primary question that I'm walking around, if you would have put a sign around my neck, a sign around my neck would say, am I wanted? Am I needed? In every single room, at work, and I'm not saying in a physical standpoint, but I'm saying in a conversation at work. Let's say that it's a group setting, and I'm not asked for my opinion, or I'm not. How do I say this? I'm in that conversation, but I feel like I'm excluded. I mean, I just feel like, then what am I doing here? Mm-hmm. And that goes back to my primary question of, am I wanted or am I needed here? And this generational chain that I had, I need to realize that it's not about only me. This relationship is two people that have needs, that have wants, that have desires. And at that point, I need to deny myself, pick up my cross, and go to bed and follow Jesus to bed. And I can't just continue to be like, okay, well, no, it's when I want, it's when I need it. And it's like, wait a minute, this is not only about you, Juan. And Jenna's not rejecting you. It's not that she doesn't want you or need you. It isn't any of that. It is that she is tired. Mm-hmm. And a no means not tonight. Mm-hmm. And I love how you said it, because it's true. I could become so sensitive. And, I remember having that conversation with you saying, honey, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Yeah. And so thank you for that. Yeah. So again, now we just threw all of our junk out there. Everybody knows. But I hope it helps. I hope it helps somebody. It's
we've been married for
13 years.
Something like
14 years together. Mm-hmm.
And it's taken us a long time to get just to there. Mm-hmm. Right. And even still, so before, when I would say not tonight, mm-hmm. you would have a hard time with it.
Absolutely.
And so sometimes now, on the rare occasion when I say no, I still have that, I guess, expectancy that I'm going to get that reaction from you, but I don't.
Because hey, come on, somebody.
But it's like you trained me to
You've heard it here on the podcast. The breakthrough. Juan has had a breakthrough.
Juan has had a breakthrough, everybody.
Well, I mean, what we're trying to say here is, hey, don't lose hope. All right? Yeah. Don't lose hope. Right. And breaking these generational chains, I mean, it doesn't happen overnight.
No.
It doesn't. But every small breakthrough, come on, somebody, every small breakthrough that you experience together, it's building a new legacy for your family. It really is.
Yeah.
Because now, again, there's not that stress. There's not that pressure. I mean, even myself, again, I'm secure in the part of, hey, I love you, Jenna, and I respect the fact when you say no. And I'm like, okay, cool. Hey, we'll give it a shot tomorrow again. and I understand that.
And I think, too, for women who are afraid to say no because they're, worried, well, if I say no, he's going to go look somewhere else. You can't, that's
you can't live in fear.
No,
you can't live in fear.
And that's where you have to put your trust in God and say, God, this is in your hands. But that's a whole nother podcast episode, I think, too, of why, and that's a generational chain that the spouse would have to break too,
yeah.
That's not your fault of why he would go do something. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. It's, again, a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, but that's going deeper into other issues.
Yep.
Of deeper, rejection. Mm-hmm. Right? Of oh, well, are you getting to somewhere else? Or what's going on? I mean, again, that's a whole other podcast.
Oh, well, I'm sure they'd love to listen to that one maybe one day in the future.
Now that we shared our junk.
Well, if you'd like to listen to a podcast like that, then we would like for you to leave a review.
Yeah, send us a review.
Yeah.
Well, listen, if this episode spoke to you, we want to encourage you. I mean, don't just stop here. Again, keep the conversation going. Reflect on the chains in your life and in your relationship. And really ask God to reveal what he wants to break in your life. And if you want to go deeper, then check out the resources that, we've linked in the show notes. It's going to help you. It'll bless you.
Yeah. And September 8th, we have our breakthrough workshop coming up.
Yeah, excited about that. Join us.
Yeah, where we're going to talk about the chains that, that you can break through and how to.
Yeah, we're going to do the how-tos.
Yeah.
You definitely don't want to miss it. More deeper than this podcast. I mean, we're going to walk through specifically how to break the chains and how Jen and I, both individually, but also together, have worked on breaking these chains. And so don't miss it. Join us again, September 8th.
It's on Zoom.
So yeah, we get to see your happy faces.
Yep. You can go to the JuanPalominoCoaching.com and sign up there.
Yeah.
And we'll put a link in the show notes for you.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And make sure you join us next week because we're continuing this conversation by talking about conflict resolution. Conflict resolution, how to navigate disagreements in a way that actually strengthens your relationship instead of tearing it apart. Yeah, you don't want to miss that one.
Nope, not at all. All right, y'all. Well, thanks for joining us. Thanks for hearing our junk. And we'll see you next time on the Juan Palomino Breakthrough Podcast.
See you next week.